Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, my students, to a new lesson number 6, speaking. And in this lesson we will give some advice to another person. So this lesson will be about how can we give advice to other people. Before anything, now look at these posters, discuss questions in small groups, then share your ideas with the class. Number 1, what is the topic of each poster? If we look at the first picture, number A, we can see an accident here. So the photo talks about the speed and the speed limit. The photo number B, it talks about Libya, and the title is Libya is Beautiful. And C, the third one, it talks about water waste, and the title is Turn It Off. In the first picture we can see also speed limits are there for a reason. Keep to the speed limit. If you don't keep the speed limit, you may have accidents. And the second one, number B, Libya is beautiful. It describes this country, I mean Libya. The third one, Turn It Off. We can see a running tap uses 9 liters of water a minute. Water is precious. Water is valuable. So please don't waste it. After talking about these 3 photos or posters, let's do number 2. Which is the best poster and why? Here, my dear students, you can choose one of them which is the best one for you, and you can give your reasons why it's the best. Some people like nature, so they admire number B. Some of them like to talk about the environment, so may they admire number C. And some students are interested in cars, in transportations, and in drivings in general, so may like number A. So according to your interests, you can answer number 2. 3. Describe a similar poster or television advertisement that you have seen. We can describe also, according to our knowledge, any poster. Number 4, suggest a caption for poster number B. Suggest a caption for poster number B. We can say, let's protect it. Let's look after our country. Let's take care of our homeland. It's important to protect our surroundings. It's so important to protect our surroundings because our state is beautiful and fantastic. Number 5, think of a new poster to encourage people to keep their neighborhood tidy. Describe it to the class. We can discuss a lot of things like the coasts, the dirty. Sometimes we can see a lot of coasts and beaches dirty. So we can talk about this topic We can talk about the traffic jam in the big cities like Damascus, for example, and Aleppo. Sometimes we can talk about smoking, etc. Now, after this introduction, we can see some possible answers. The first one talks about the speed limit. The second poster is about Libya, and the third one is water waste. According to number 2, 3, and 5, you can answer these questions by your own. And number 4, suggest a caption for poster number B, which is about Libya. We can say, let's protect it. Let's look after our country. It's important to protect our surroundings. Now, number B, study the books. Which do you think is the strongest way of giving advice? Giving advice, we can give advice or warnings in English using particular verb forms. We can give advice or warnings in English using particular, specific, special verb form, specific verb forms. Like example, don't drop litter. Don't drop litter. This is the first form. We can use another form. You should keep the streets clear. You should keep the streets clear. Number 3, you should not drop litter. You shouldn't drop litter. Here we can notice a lot of verb forms. Number 1, we use don't. Number 2, we use should. And number 3, we use should not. But here the question is, which one is the strongest? Don't, should, or shouldn't? Or we can give advice by using particular phrases, like it's a good idea to do something, it's a good idea to go out, it's a good idea to have lunch out, it's a good idea to keep your neighborhood clean. Yes, so the expression it's a good idea to is a particular phrase which is used to give advice. We can use also another phrase which is it's important to, like it's important to do your homework, it's important to study hard, it's important to take your litter home, etc. If we want to make a negative, we can say it's important not to, like it's important not to leave litter, it's important not to forget your books, it's important not to shout or cry in the classroom. And the final one, the last phrase is it's best to. It's best to use pens for your litter. It's best to do your homework early. It's best to study every day. So these expressions, it's good idea to, it's important to, it's important not to, it's best to, all of them are used if I want to give any advice to another person. But now let's come back to the first question, which do you think is the strongest way of giving advice? Do you think don't, should, or shouldn't? Which one is the strongest? Yes, I am sure you knew this question, you knew the answer to this question. So the first one, exactly, excellent students. The first one, don't. Yes, don't is the strongest way. Whereas the second and the third one, these two sentences, the second and the third sentences, are more polite, Here we can see the answer. So don't is the strongest way of giving advice because it looks like an order. Do or don't do this. Don't is the strongest way of giving advice. Number C, work in pairs. Make sentences about the advice each poster is giving. Make sentences about the advice each poster is giving. For example, number A, the poster number A, you should not speed. It's important not to speed. Here we use these phrases, the phrases in the previous exercise. Yeah, you should not speed. It's important not to speed. It's best to drive carefully. Now, the second poster number B, Libya is beautiful. We can say, you should respect the environment. You should respect the environment. Don't destroy nature. And we can use, it's important to protect nature. We can also add, it's important not to leave litter, not to throw rubbish in the streets. According to the third one, number C, poster number C, turn it off. You should turn taps off. You should turn taps off. You should close the taps. Don't leave taps on. It's a good idea to save water. It's important to save water. After that, let's move to the workbook. And this is the last task for today's lesson. Lesson number A, choose one of the topics below. Here we have to choose just one topic to be discussed. Prepare to give advice about each one using the language on course book, page number 35. Then give advice to a partner. So here we want to choose just one of the topics below to be discussed. What are these topics? The first one, taking exams. The second, getting married. The third topic is buying electronic goods. Number 4, using a computer. Number 5, saving water. Saving water. And then traveling. Finally, we have keeping a pet. Let's discuss some of these topics orally, and you can write the sentences down, my students, by your own. You can do this task yourselves. But now I am giving you some sentences related to these topics, and you can write them down in your copybook. For taking exams, we can say you should study hard. You should study hard every day. It's important not to waste your time. It's important not to waste your time. Because, as the proverb says, time is gold. Time is precious. According to the using a computer, this topic, using a computer, we can say you should use a computer very well. It's important to get a lot of information. It's important because you can get a lot of information. Saving water. We can say you should save water because it's so important to keep water. Don't waste it. It's important to save water. Water is precious. For the last one, keeping a pet, we can say you should keep a pet at your home. Why? It's so important to amuse yourself. It's important to amuse yourself when you are free or bored. And you can complete doing this task by yourself, my students, and you can write them down in your notebook. Yes, finally and eventually, I want to say to all of you goodbye, and don't waste time. Don't waste water and don't waste time, because time is so precious as like water. I hope you can get what you wish to get in the future, and see you in the following lesson. So study very well. Goodbye.